In the quiet, climate-controlled vaults of Yale University's Binecker Library, a single volume rests. It is not the largest book, nor the most beautifully bound, yet it holds a power that few objects on Earth can claim. It is a book filled with words that no one can read. It contains illustrations of plants that have never grown in our soil. It shows diagrams of stars that have never appeared in our night sky. For 6 centuries, this small, unassuming codex has presented humanity with a profound and unsettling puzzle. It is known as the Voynich Manuscript, and it is, quite simply, the most mysterious book in the world. It is a silent testament to a story lost to time, a message locked away from all understanding. The silence of the manuscript is its most compelling feature. The world's greatest minds have stared into its pages, searching for a pattern, searching for a clue, searching for a single crack in its inscrutable facade. It is a siren's call to the curious, promising a revelation of immense importance, yet offering only deeper questions with every turn of the page. To hold the manuscript, or, more realistically, to view its high-resolution digital scans, its pages made from carefully prepared calf skin, known as vellum. These pages, numbering around 240, are filled with a tangible sense of age. They are weathered and worn, suggesting they were once used as charts or diagrams. The very material speaks of a time when books were precious objects. Each page is a survivor, a delicate fragment that has somehow navigated 600 years of history to reach us. The most famous and the largest is the Botanical Section. Page after page displays drawings of plants. Some have roots that look like tiny interconnected human figures. Others have leaves that spiral in impossible geometric patterns. Following the strange plants, the manuscript transitions into even more bewildering territory. There are astronomical astrological sections filled with circular diagrams resembling zodiacs. Carbon dating of its vellum pages has placed its creation somewhere between the years 1404 and 1438. This places it firmly in the early Renaissance. Intellectual ferment, artistic innovation, science, mysticism. The ink and pigments used are consistent with this period, so we know when it was made. We even know where, most likely northern Italy. But for the first 2 centuries, the book vanishes from the record. It surfaces in the possession of the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolf II in Prague. Rudolf II, a monarch obsessed with alchemy, astrology, the occult. He reportedly bought the book for 600 gold ducats. He believed it to be by Roger Bacon. From there, the provenance begins to solidify, passed owner to owner. Then Wilfrid Voynich discovered it at Villa Mondragone. Voynich was captivated. He spent the rest of his life on it and promoted its mystery. He gave it his name, and today the Voynich Manuscript rests at Yale. The core of the Voynich enigma lies in its language. It is a system of writing that tantalizingly mimics the structure of real languages, yet steadfastly refuses to yield any meaning. For instance, the distribution of its characters follows a statistical pattern known as Zipf's law. Most frequent word twice as often, second most frequent 3 times as often, and so on. The Voynich script conforms to this pattern almost perfectly. The entropy of the Voynich script is similar to that of known languages like Latin, English. Certain character combinations appear more frequently in specific locations within a word, beginning, middle, end. There are even words that are repeated, sometimes in clusters. All the statistical evidence points towards a genuine functioning language, and yet, despite these promising signs, every attempt to assign meaning to the symbols has failed. It is not a simple substitution cipher. It is not a more complex polyalphabetic cipher like the Vigenère cipher. Detailed analysis has shown that certain characters seem to prefer to appear at the beginning of words, while others prefer the middle and still others the end. It is a perfect lock for which no key has ever been found. The history of attempts to decipher the Voynich manuscript is a long and humbling chronicle. The challenge began in earnest in the 20th century, particularly after the Second World War. The world's finest codebreakers, fresh from triumphs breaking the German enigma, turned their formidable skills to this medieval puzzle. William Friedman, Elizabeth Friedman, the husband and wife team, pioneers of American cryptology, dedicated significant effort to it. After decades of sporadic work, William Friedman reluctantly concluded it was likely an attempt to construct an artificial language or a universal language. The arrival of the computer age promised a new dawn, with machines doing millions of calculations per second. Computers could scan the entire manuscript in an instant, identifying every pattern, every repetition. Yet this raw computational power brought no breakthrough, it only deepened the mystery. The machines confirmed language-like properties, but they could not find a key to unlock its meaning. Captain Prescott Currier, a US Navy cryptographer, made one of the few accepted advances. By studying the handwriting, he determined the manuscript was likely written by two different scribes using two slightly different dialects or conventions, Voynich A, Voynich B. Online communities of dedicated amateur sleuths, professional sleuths collaborate, sharing theories, running new algorithms against the text. Artificial intelligence is now being brought to bear on the problem. In 2018, a Canadian research team used AI to analyze the script. Their algorithm suggested the language might be anagrammed, abbreviated Hebrew. This claim generated enormous excitement, but was quickly met with skepticism from linguists and historians. Faced with 6 centuries of impenetrable silence, one of the most persistent and compelling theories is that the Voynich Manuscript is nothing more than an elaborate and brilliant hoax. The idea suggests that the entire book was created for a single purpose: to deceive. The strange plants, the surreal diagrams, the elegant but meaningless script. The target would have been a wealthy and gullible patron, someone like Emperor Rudolph II. A forger could have used a simple device, a card with a series of holes, a cipher grill, to combine syllables from a predefined table. This would allow rapid creation of text that looks structured and consistent, and even follows certain statistical patterns. The plants are not just unknown, they appear to be impossible composites, pieced together from different unrelated species. The astronomical charts do not correspond to any known celestial configuration. First, the sheer effort involved would have been monumental. To create a 240-page manuscript with over 170,000 carefully written characters would be an immense undertaking for a fraud. Furthermore, the linguistic subtleties, like the adherence to Zipf's law and the consistent internal structure, would be incredibly difficult to fake. It would require a genius of deception, a forger with a profound understanding of linguistics, centuries ahead of his time. Is it more likely that such a forger existed, or that the book represents something genuinely unknown to us? Proponents of this theory often point to the illustrations as further proof. However, the hoax theory is not without its own significant problems. Is it more likely that such a forger existed, or that the book represents something genuinely unknown to us? Beyond the stark possibility of a hoax, other theories suggest the manuscript is a genuine repository of lost or secret knowledge. One enduring idea: it's an alchemical text, a coded guide to the magnum opus. Alchemists wrote in secret codes and symbolic language, known as decnamen, to hide work from the uninitiated and the church. The bizarre illustrations could be symbolic alchemical processes. The Botanical Section, tiny naked figures often bathing in pools connected by tubes, might hint at processes related to biology or alchemy. These could be metaphors for distillation, purification, stages in an alchemical work. Another theory, a record of medical knowledge, perhaps an encyclopedia of women's health, midwifery and hydrotherapy. Some plants resemble real medicinal herbs. The bathing scenes may link to gynecology. If true, the manuscript could be a document from a female healer or community of midwives, recorded in secret script to protect knowledge from a patriarchal medical establishment. Recorded in secrecy. More extreme theory, extraterrestrial origin, or contact with other worlds. But laboratory analysis of inks and pigments shows nothing unearthly. Vellum, ink, pigments are 15th century Earth. Not a time traveller, not an alien, but a person or people in early Renaissance Europe. Analysis shows text was written before the coloured illustrations. Ink sometimes runs beneath the paint. The writing is fluid with few corrections, suggesting the scribe knew what they were writing. So, what has modern science truly told us? In the 21st century, the quest to understand the Voynich manuscript moved from dusty archives into sterile materials labs. Radiocarbon dating at the University of Arizona in 2009 was a landmark moment. By testing small vellum samples, scientists placed its creation between 1404 and 1438. That result debunked many theories: a modern forgery by Wilfrid Voynich or a work by Roger Bacon. Using polarized light microscopy and X-ray spectroscopy, researchers identified the chemical composition. The results were disappointingly normal: iron gall ink, ochre pigments, copper-based green, gum arabic, no exotic materials, no anachronistic components, no unearthly substances, made with the standard toolkit of a 15th century scribe or artist. Analysis shows text was written before the colored illustrations. Ink sometimes runs beneath the paint. The writing is fluid with few corrections, suggesting the scribe knew what they were writing. This evidence paints a clear picture of origins, but deepens the mystery of the contents. Conventional materials make the script and illustrations more baffling. Technology can analyze the vessel but cannot access the message within. Scientific data anchors the mystery in our history, making it more perplexing. Not dropped from the sky, but grown from our soil. A product of a human mind or culture we cannot yet comprehend. It is a product of a human mind or culture we cannot yet comprehend. After 600 years, the Voynich Manuscript remains precisely what it was to Emperor Rudolf II. An object of profound and tantalizing mystery. Every path of inquiry, historical, linguistic, cryptographic, scientific, has led to a dead end. Every promising theory has withered under scrutiny. The book is a fortress, its defenses so perfectly constructed that they have resisted 6 centuries of siege. It continues to hoard its secrets, offering no quarter to our relentless desire for answers. The manuscript has become more than just an unsolved puzzle. It is a cultural touchstone, a symbol of the ultimate enigma. It represents the limits of human understanding. If the manuscript were to be deciphered tomorrow, its magic would vanish. It would become just another historical document, fascinating perhaps, but finite. It can be anything and everything. A lost book of spells, an alien encyclopedia, a prophet's diary, or a madman's dream. It fuels our imagination precisely because it does not constrain it with facts. It is a canvas onto which we can project our own curiosity, our own desire for wonder, in a world that often seems all too explained. And so the question remains, hanging in the air just as it did in the court of Prague 6 centuries ago. What is the Voynich Manuscript? What do you think it represents? A lost scientific treatise? An elaborate joke? Or something we can't even imagine? Share your theories in the comments below.